Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, David here, and today we are back once again. It's been a while, but it's for an Atlus news episode, and this one is packed because I've been accumulating smaller type of news, and it's one big episode. So I have a lot to say. Let's jump right into it. But before we do, as always, if you want to stay up to date on any type of content, Atlus, Shin Megami Tensei, Persona, you are at the right place. Make sure to subscribe, and if you want to be notified whenever I have some news to report, a notification bell activation always help. And if you like the video, quick thumbs up also is a big help for the channel, and it takes only a few seconds. Alright, let's get started, and the first topic that I want to talk about today is a brand new Atlus and Sega survey that they put up on their website called the Sega Insight Lab. It's basically going to be, from my understanding, a series of surveys that they're going to be sending to everyone who registered. The link is down in the description below. If you guys are interested, I suggest making your voices heard. Sega and Atlus are asking for our thoughts on which games do we want to play on which platform, as always. So there's the possibility of putting certain series on PCs if you want in the survey, on Switch, PlayStation, Xbox. All the series are there, or a lot of series are there. I've seen some cool things. I've seen some things that I really enjoyed seeing on there. Of course, Shin Megami Tensei was there, Persona. All the platforms were there in terms of on which systems do we want the games. So it was great. There was one thing in particular that I really liked seeing. Skies of Arcadia was on the list, so that's always a very good thing to see. So I really want Sega to bring back Skies of Arcadia, so it was on there. Yakuza, Monkey Ball, all the great IPs, they were all on the list, so it's great to see. One game that would be missing that I would have liked to see, one series, is the Sakura Wars series. So Sakura Wars was in previous surveys. It is missing from this one. Not a good sign, but hey, it is just a survey, and again, from my understanding, if you register to be on the Insight Lab for Sega and Atlus, I think you're going to receive other surveys in the future. Again, I suggest making your voices heard. Very quick survey, it's like 5 minutes maximum, so very quick. I suggest doing so. Now, in terms of this second topic, we have the Atlus store. So of course, we talked months ago about Atlus bringing back the official Atlus store for merch. Figures, posters, t-shirts, stickers, stuff like that. The store in the past existed. So there was an Atlus store in the past, and it was really rough. So it was really like there was a lack of merch, a lack of options as well. It was basically a Persona 5 shop. And in terms of Megaton mainline, there was almost nothing. So it was a missed opportunity. So there was a lot of things that they could do right. Shipping was awful, all that stuff. It was really rough. Prices too. So they basically ended up shutting down the store at one point. And they said, we're going to look at our techniques, and we're going to revise everything that we did. We're going to make the shop better, and we'll reopen it at some point. That was years ago. And then earlier this year, they confirmed that the Atlus store is finally coming back. And they said we should expect some news in October. They waited until the 29th to give us news, but they did deliver, and the Atlus store is going to officially open on November 17th. In just a couple of weeks, right after the release of Shin Megami Tensei V, the Atlus store will be live, and we will be able to pre-order some official merch from Atlus, hopefully with a lot of options, with great shipping rates and stuff like that. So I'll be looking forward to it. I don't think you guys can see it on camera, but I do have a lot of figures. I have some other merch that I like to collect for Atlus. So it's always a good, my wallet isn't ready, but we'll make it work. Along with the release date launch, of course, you're seeing it on screen right now, they also revealed that they're going to start the launch of the shop with some special Persona 25th anniversary collector's products. So we don't know anything. We don't know if it's going to be like figures, if it's going to be posters, anything. So we'll have to wait and see, but they're starting with the 25th of Persona, which is okay. Again, the launch is right after the launch of SMT 5, so I think that would have been a little bit more exciting. The 25th of Persona is cool and all, but we had a lot of merch drop recently for the 25th in September, so it's cool. Again, not complaining, but this is what you can looking forward to in terms of the Atlus store. We have 2 topics left to go over, and the next topic is, of course, a major Atlus dev leaves the company for other projects, and that person being Shoji Meguro. Now, of course, I'm sure a lot of you guys have heard the name before. If you didn't, Shoji Meguro is a dev, and he's been a dev working at Atlus for years. Shoji Meguro was a composer on some of the best soundtracks, certain Persona games, the Digital Devil Saga games. He is a fantastic and legendary composer. He also worked as a director, helping with game development on certain games as well. So he made a lot of massive things at Atlus. Of course, he did say during the Reason of Music concert last year that Ryota Kazuka was the new face of SMT music, so we were indeed expecting Ryota Kazuka to be the composer for Shin Megami Tensei V. It is the case, but in terms of Shoji Meguro, I know this may sound like a bummer. Don't be too worried. Basically what Meguro is doing is he's leaving Atlus to start doing his own work on an indie title, and it's been his dream for multiple years. He said that in an interview, and he is working on a game which he is going to reveal at some point in a expo in Japan as well. So an indie game for Shoji Meguro, working on his own, realizing his dream, so full credit to him. I'll be looking forward to his game as well. Hopefully it gets localized, but I'm just glad he's following his dreams. I mean, that's the best thing that he could do, and he had a fantastic career at Atlus. When Atlus put out their press release saying that Meguro was leaving, they also said that he is still going to be doing some freelance work for Atlus as well. So if they need some help in future projects and they want Meguro's help, they're going to be able to hire him. It's kind of like the Sakurai with Nintendo. Masahiro Sakurai is not a Nintendo employee. He is, of course, the face of Smash Brothers at this point. He does freelance work for Nintendo. It's going to be the same thing for Meguro. Obviously, we don't know how much work he's going to do for Atlus, not an employee, but don't worry. It's a good overall, it's good for him, and we're not losing either, so it's a win-win situation. And the final thing that I want to talk about is, of course, the previews for Shin Megami Tensei V. So media outlets received review copies for Shin Megami Tensei V, and they had 2 embargoes. There was one for previews, which lifted last week, so there's a lot of previews that came up. Previews being they can talk about, I think it was like the first 10 hours or something of the game, or they were only allowed to talk about certain things in particular, not show gameplay and all that stuff. So it's not a big deal, but they were able to do some previews, and honestly, it's looking really good. Most of the outlets that did the preview, they were super positive with the project, so it's good to see. Once we get our hands on Shin Megami Tensei V, we'll be able to experience it for ourselves, but it's definitely freaking fantastic because overall, it's just extremely good. Now, there's a little catch. I'm sure you saw the thumbnail, and maybe you saw one of my good friends' video as well, King Narakami 45. He made a video on the subject because there's one particular news outlet, Polygon. They made an article, again, no disrespect towards the actual journalist who made the review, but it really is an article that's just a comparison with Persona 5. So he's just comparing Persona 5 with Shin Megami Tensei V, and there's some really interesting things in that article. So I thought we could go over, before we wrap things up with this news episode, with some of the things that he said in his review. It's something. So let me quote a couple of things with this article here, and I'm gonna put the quotes on screen as well. So the article was written by Ana Diaz, and the article starts that way. Shin Megami Tensei V is the latest entry in Atlus's JRPG series where you fight and recruit demons. The franchise is known for a complex turn-based combat system where you're able to negotiate with your foes, just like in Atlus's other series, Persona. So it starts, okay, there's Persona in the first paragraph, not too bad, but once she starts going into the preview, yeah, it gets interesting. I've had my eyes on the Shin Megami Tensei series for a while now. Persona 5 Royal, which has a lot in common with SMT, became a staple of my early pandemic days. There's some interesting things later in the article where this is where there was a lot of controversy. So they say SMT5 spins a tale of biblical proportions. Upon entering its world, the first thing I hear is a dark, ominous voice whose echoes give off a godlike omnipotence. The narrator weaves an Adam and Eve-like tale about a tree that's the source of knowledge. This is a far cry from the silly high school antics of the Phantom Thieves in Persona 5 Royal, where the player talks to school principals and jocks to solve problems. Sure, SMT5 also follows a No More High School Boy, but the stakes and setting are totally different, and players are pulled off into a post-apocalyptic Tokyo filled with angels, demons, and glittering sands. And later on in the article, that's one of the biggest thing that she said in the article that got people all riled up. Quote, because of this focus on battles, the SMT5 preview felt like a stripped down version of P5R. Now, if you're into the Megaton community, you definitely know that comparing P5 with comparing Persona with mainline in a negative way, it's always a bit rough, and you definitely should expect a lot of backlash, especially when you say it that way. And while it felt more accessible to play, I did find myself missing certain P5R elements. When I played P5R, I kept a notebook with me because there was just so much to learn as a player new to the series. You date people, keep track of your own relationships, and manage the protagonist's own characteristics. The list of what you need to know to play the game goes on. You can even go get a job, for crying out loud. And this is all in addition to catching, training, and fusing monsters. It gets to be a lot. In contrast, I spent most of my time playing SMT5, gritting my teeth in battles, making decisions that may impact the stories in ways I don't know yet. The fights are hard, but when you're done with them, you won't need to think about all the other stuff. This makes SMT5 a potentially easier entry point to what Atlus's games are about, rather than the Persona games, which are dense with lore and relationships managements. It's a standalone game that doesn't connect to a previous story, and it introduces a lot of elements from Atlus's JRPGs in a more digestible way. Personally, I missed many of the aspects of P5R. It's fun to date and hang out with friends in the game, and I'm just gonna stop there. I mean, it's okay, but the issue that I have here, it's her opinion, and I'm never gonna blame someone for an opinion. It's cool. It's just that you need to preview SMT5, and she's talking. There's almost more words about P5 than SMT5 in that preview, and SMT5 is its own game. There's no need to compare SMT5 to P5 for a whole article. This preview is useless in my opinion. If I'm reading a review for Shin Megami Tensei V, I want to read a review about Shin Megami Tensei V. I don't want someone to explain to me what Persona 5 is. It's the same thing if I'm playing Yakuza 7. If I'm reading a review for Yakuza 7, I don't want to hear about Monkey Ball. It's the same old thing. I know it's a similar series, but still. So I get why people are riled up. Overall though, the previews for SMT5 are looking good, and except those little ones that are a little bit most of them are really good, and a lot of content creators too are playing the game right now, and they're extremely happy with it. We've seen it on social medias. There's some people that are not supposed to talk about the game, but they're still doing it, and it's just really positive overall. So I wanted to give you guys the information. Also, be clear of spoilers. It's out there now. People are playing the game. Some people are already done with the game as well. So if you want to stay spoilers free, I suggest being careful when you're watching a video in the comment sections as well. My videos are included in that. I'm always doing my best. If I see any spoilers in my comment sections, I'll try to delete the comments as much as I can. And I'm asking you guys to please don't post spoilers in my comment sections below. If you are in the Discord server, again, don't worry. I will be keeping an eye on spoilers. We're insta-banning people that are putting SMT5 spoilers. My moderators are really active and making sure that there is no issues with spoilers for the game. And in terms of my own content on Shin Megami Tensei V, don't worry, there is going to be spoilers at times, not in my review though. So if you're looking forward to my review, there's not going to be any spoilers, but for my other content, if there is some spoilers, there's always going to be a massive warning, so you're never going to get a bad surprise from me. It's always going to be super clear. This is it for this news episode, guys. Thank you so much for your time. This was a large episode, but it's been a while, so if you enjoyed it, once again, quick thumbs up, and if you're new, you enjoyed the content, a subscription. Thank you for watching. Not a lot of days left until SMT5. I hope you guys are excited. If you are, let me know. I want to hear your thoughts. Thank you for watching, y'all. Have a great day. Bye.